notes of what I wanted to say next, I could do one in 10 or 15 minutes. I called them my Saturday specials, but I actually mailed them on Friday when I went to the post office with the office post. I only once ran over into office time. Life at the Baths was either all or nothing. Nothing happened for 40 minutes, and then you were rushed off your feet for 20, and then back to nothing. In one of those empty stretches, my boss, Mr. Bond, caught me drawing something. Mr. Bigelow used to make the most wonderful rag rugs, and he would send sketches, and I would transfer them onto graph paper so that it was easier for him to follow. My boss wrote very bad letters, but liked very quick dictation. He made me sit on a chair, but not at a desk, and I had to write resting on my knee, taking down 125 words a minute. I had to change the sentences as I went along so that his letters made sense. It taught me how to write a letter the hard way, I suppose. Mr. Bigelow did not reply to my first few letters, but when he did, I believe his notes were aimed at cajoling, annoying, or pricking me into writing an extra midweek letter. His letters were indecipherable scrawls on scrap paper with no date, and no "Dear Miss Woodsford" or "Dear Francis." My family and friends call me Nora, but when writing to Mr. Bigelow, I chose to call myself by my first name, Francis, because I preferred it. I'm terribly sorry now not to have kept his notes to me, but they weren't consecutive. Word games, jokes, that sort of thing. Mr. Bigelow wasn't a pen pal, he was a sparring partner. Still, I got him tamed, and he looked forward to hearing from me, I think. He kept the letters in a special wooden box so they weren't loose about the place. Writing to Mr. Bigelow was very important. It lightened my life. Without the weekly letters, I would have been enclosed in the to and fro of home and work. I was sharing a small flat with my mother and my brother Mac, and I didn't have any social life because I couldn't afford it. Oh, Mac had the social life. He was out to find a wife. He was a committee clerk at the town hall, and during the time I was writing to Mr. Bigelow, he was headhunted to be deputy children's officer at the council. I didn't like my job. My office window looked over the pier, the one nice thing about it. We had such appalling staff. They stayed a day and a half if I was lucky, and I was always the muggins who had to take over their job. My boss didn't mind. I was called secretary, but I really ran the baths except for the engineering side and estimates and stock-taking, although I ended up doing that too. And I had to deal with all the complaints, because my office door was labelled Superintendent Inquiries, and Mr. Bond's was labelled Private. He wasn't silly. I would patrol the baths once an hour to find out what crisis had erupted. I organised the staff timetables, the wages and tax returns, and the correspondence, and did the flower arranging and helped with the washing up in the cafe when needed. I organised the police gala, and all the other galas, and in summer we had a water show, and I had to be front-of-house manager and receive honoured guests. I would wear Rhodey's beautiful silk dresses. It was wonderful, because if somebody came to complain, and the person they were complaining to was better dressed than their wife, then they couldn't bully me quite so much. The Baths was a very closed circuit, but the letters gave me broader horizons. Mr. Bigelow and I had common interests in books, films, theatre, and music, and common fears in hospitals and dentists. I would keep him informed of local events and British news, and we would often discuss international politics. He sent me copies of Holiday magazine, and I would always clip out Giles cartoons to send on to him. When Rhodey came to visit, I sent Mr. Bigelow reports from our jaunts in the invariably wet English countryside. I regularly attended civil defence and first aid classes, and these were good subjects for my letters, full of satirical potential. I'd always been good with my hands, and signed up for pottery and painting at evening school, but with varying success. Mr. Bigelow got to hear about the scrapes I got into, and I would send him the fruits of my labours. I also learnt to